Hi, today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I think it's a tiled background. I'm not actually stamping on it, which is usually like a faux tiled background. But if you know a name, you can let me know in the comments. Also, are you dealing with low mojo? I swear, I keep having ideas in my head that I cannot get onto the paper. To create this card, went through all of these just to create this simple card. I tend to, when I have this issue, I usually do kits, like exactly how they're made to be made, because I'm at least creating. Um, and then if that's still not working, I go monochromatic. But if you have an idea that I should try, let me know in the comments too. But today, we are going to make this card. Quilted background, faux tile, don't know what you call it. And for that, I'm going to use my Simply Scored tool. And with that, I created a template for me. This is a 4-inch square that I just cut in half with my, what do you call that? My knife. And I'm just holding it in the corner. And I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white thick cardstock. The thin works pretty good too. That's what I used, or the regular. That's what I used for this one. And it was fine too. I just thought I might get a deeper impression if I used the thick. So my 4-inch triangle is in the corner, and then I'm gonna put my cardstock so that the corners butted up against, well, it's up in the 4-inch, up with 4 inches and right against this triangle. And I'm gonna tape it a little bit because I found that helps a lot. So I'm gonna use the skinny side, and I'm gonna do every inch, starting with 4. And I might want to do it twice to get a good impression. Then 5, then 6, and I don't think 7 hits. And then here's the tricky part. Got to move that out of the way. And then go to 3, 2, oops, and then 1. And then we're going to need this again. Remove the tape carefully. Put that in there. And now you need the short side up against it. And I'm still going to tape this edge to help it stay in place. And I'm going to do, yep, still skinny, 4, 5, 6, and I think 7 hits, yep, 7. And then I have to move it again. And then we do 3, 2, and I don't believe 1 hits. Yeah, 1's too far over. So gently pull that off. And then you've got this cool scored background. Now, if you have this, which used to be an addition you could get with the Simply Scored, you can stick it in the corner. Okay, apparently not that way. Maybe this way. You can stick it in the corner, and for some of them, you can get the score lines. It's the measurements will be different, but you can play with that. We don't sell that anymore, and I had to buy mine off eBay. But we're done with the scoreboard for now. And I am going to ink it. Now I'm going to start with the outside because after I'm done folding all of these, it's really hard to get crisp outsides because it's just so bent. So I just want to go along. I'm trying not to get it too dark, but I've been using my brush, so it's probably got more ink in it and is wet. So going around the outside, and then we will start bending along those score lines so that we could shade it in for each of them. I mean, if you just want to do the whole overall, let's see, I have an example. This one. So this one, I just used the blending brush over all of it to get that pattern. I just didn't think, the lines didn't show up quite as well. So we're gonna bend it over. And for this, I would not recommend a glass board or anything that's gonna keep the ink, because you will get splotches like that because we're gonna keep flipping it over and over. So add some to the edge and then flip it to add it to the other. And then we're gonna bend the next one. Add some ink to the edge and then flip it over again. Then we bend along the next line and we keep repeating the process, adding ink to the edge, flipping it over, adding ink to the other side. Next line, we add ink to the edge. I saw something like this a few years ago. Cheryl Lee made one, and I could not find anything with her card posted. I think it was for a swap that Rachel Tessman did, and I just could not find it. So I don't know what she called it or actually how she made it. This just came from my head remembering, and this was how I guessed it was done. Okay, so there's that side. And if you just wanted stripes, you don't have to do both. You could do that. That'd be cool too. But now I'm gonna start the diagonal, and we just keep going with the same process. And there we have our background. If any of the squares, if you want more ink in them, you can go back and add more ink. I'm done with my scrap paper. Now, what I did this last time for this one was I decided I wanted to score these again. So I find the side I used, it's pretty much the ones with the top corners, and I put it back in, trying to make sure I lined it up correctly. Tape it down, and then run through the scoring slowly and carefully, just to make sure it looks indented instead of folded out like it currently is. And then again on the other side, carefully taking off the tape. And there we go. And that makes it firmer again. It's less folded, but I think that looks pretty cool. Now I am going to stick it straight on the background now, or on the card base, just to get it out of my way while I work on the decoration. Because I wanted something that didn't take away from the background, but try not to fall into my normal rut of putting something down here. So I was actually inspired by, I think it might have been the September paper pumpkin of last year, because I am so far behind, where it had a tree and a frame, and I thought, oh, that would be cool. So that's why it looks like that. So I'm gonna start with the stamping, because then I can get all of my die cutting done at once. And I'm using see, the Phrases and Frames stamp set, the Phrases and Frames die. We're going to use this one. We're going to use this from the Greenery Lane dies. And then, of course, we have to have the Stylish Shapes dies. I don't know if I could make a card without that. It's the perfect banner size for most of my sentiments. Okay, so I'm still using Highland Heather here. And I'm stamping that. And then I can close this up. Clean off my block before I stamp my finger. Okay. Now we're going to go through the die cutting. I probably could have made that a little smaller, but that's okay. So I'm just going to do these two at one time. Because the frame one, I'm going to put through with the mat, and I want to try and keep it in the frame as I'm doing that. So let's line up our sentiment. It's pretty close to the edges. So I have to try and carefully line that up. Put that at a little angle, and then we'll run that through. So we have our sentiment. And I have my decorative leaves. Oh, and this is the, what is this called? Earthen toned metallic paper. I really like it. Oh, I forgot this again. It really is great for picking up all those little scraps. Okay, now I'm going to cut out this die. And my piece barely fits it. It's what, 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, I think. Oh, let's put that at an angle. And take that into place. And we'll run it through. Okay. Now, yeah, it always comes out for me. So I'm gonna need this die again. And I'm gonna have a few squares left over. Maybe that's what I die cut that out of. Okay, so this is it before and after. It's hard to see that, especially on video, that it's popped up more over here. But now I need to take away these plates, get it back in my die, and I'm actually going to tape this, put it on here so that it stays in place. Put it at an angle, tape that down, maybe this side too. And it won't cut those because it's using the mat. At least it didn't cut them last time. So now I've got, what is this called? The impressions. Whoops. There goes my Simply Scored. The impressions plate. And then I need the specialty plate for the top. We'll run that through. Then I don't need that anymore. Can carefully peel these off. And then see, it's got more dimension to it now. Okay, we are done with the die cutting. And we're ready to finish assembling the card. Okay, I've got my background. I am going to just glue this on in approximately the center. Oops. Let's see if I can eyeball that. That looks pretty good. Oops. And now I'm going to add my leaves. Just add some liquid glue behind that. And stick that in here. I'm gonna put my block on it to hold that down. This I'm gonna use some dimensionals on the back of. And I wanted something that was gonna go mostly across, and I wanted to hide the bottom of the stem. I don't know why. I don't like to see the bottoms of the stems. I can't explain it, but that's how I am. And while I'm letting that dry, I'm gonna color my iridescent pearls with my dark Highland Heather Stampin' Blend. I'm gonna do 2 big and 1 small. We'll let those dry for a minute. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, I already took the backings off. Now, can I get this lined up? I don't want to see the edges. There we go. So that's pretty good. And now we can add our gems. Just stick them around the sentiment area. And that's the final card. And here is my example. Thanks for watching.